It'll be one to go this time by. Coming to the green, buddy, coming to the green. Let's go get him. Go, 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 go.
Get your motor running. Head out on the highway.
All right, we'll move on to our next two drivers here. We have Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Greg Biffle. Dale, if you can just open up and talk about this weekend and maybe what the effect you think the weather might have on the racing.
I don't think it'll affect the racing too much. I've been looking forward to coming here. I like racing at Martinsville and like short track racing, and we run pretty good here. So just been, I don't know, it's probably a wash today, but hopefully tomorrow we'll get a little practice in so everybody have a good idea how to get going on Sunday.
Greg, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with Junior that probably the qualifying of this rain probably is really going to affect, you know, the race. It looks a little iffy tomorrow whether we have practice, you know, in the morning time, but I think that, you know, most important thing is get some race practice in and you know, see what your car is going to be like. And the track probably is going to change a lot from the time that we practice till we race on it, so that's something that, you know, we'll have to try and calculate because of the, you know, amount of rain and the lack of rubber being down on the racetrack from the trucks and qualifying and all that. So we'll just have to wait and see.
All right, we'll open it up to questions. Please raise your hand. We'll bring you a wireless mic, and please start with your name and affiliation. Dustin up here in the front.
Dustin Long, Landmark Newspapers. Question for each. For Dale, how much does a crew chief kind of dictate what kind of success you have here in the sense of pit strategy, track position, that type of thing during a race? And the question for Greg is, you're among the older guys in the chase and up there in the points. How do you feel age is an advantage or helps you with experience? How age or experience helps you?
How old are you? 33?
That's the first time I've been the old guy, but
I thought you were 33, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
It makes you know, I don't think that it really makes that much of a difference. I think that morely your age probably more so experience than anything. You know, when you after you've a few years in competition, I'm going to say, you know, like Junior and myself, I would imagine that experience at that point really doesn't matter. But you take somebody like Clint Boyer, probably, you know, that has less years in, you know, Nationwide and Sprint Cup. You know, those guys could still, you know, make mistakes or do some things or whatever. But just using him as an example because he's, you know, just a couple years into the series, but. You know, I raced the Truck Series for 3 years and the Nationwide for 2, and just, you know, you see a lot of things over that period of time, and you learn a lot of things about what you don't want to do and how you get yourself in trouble, you know, and how to stay out of trouble. So I think that kind of experience is just real valuable versus just, you know, what, you know, I see experience as the age thing to me.
To answer your question, Dustin, I think a crew chief has a pretty good amount of influence on giving you the opportunity to win here, more so than the other tracks. Because sometimes at Martinsville, I mean, we've seen it quite a few times where guys are doing different things on tires on that last stop to win. I think Bobby Labonte did it a couple years back, and then he did it. Yeah, so it's tough to know what call to make, but seems like that, especially with this car, that two tire stop at the end might be more common than with the older car. It seemed like the older car uses left side tires a lot more. This car doesn't, just wears the rights out. So I think you'll see it even more now, but it's definitely a factor all throughout the race to give yourself track position and to it's much like Bristol where you can, if you qualify poorly, you can pit early on the first couple cautions and then stay out on that 60 or 70 lap caution to get that track position and maintain it, try to maintain that the rest of the day. Who's doing what? Now, it's difficult for a driver, I think, to keep track of who's done what other than what you can visually see around you. You can't really see from 5 or 6 cars on back what the other guys are doing, but you can tell, definitely tell who's beat you off pit road and how. But hopefully the crew chief's really taking that into consideration and watching how those guys are affected by taking 2 and whatnot.
All right, we'll go Jerry, Jeff Gluck, Gary, Nate.
Jerry Bunkowski, Yahoo Sports, for both gentlemen. A lot of talk going on lately about Martinsville's future, whether they'll continue to have 2 races or not. What does this track mean to you guys personally, and how much would you hate to see lose a race?
Well, I mean, we've lost a lot of events that are, a lot of fans and our sport is known by, one, Rockingham, and then Darlington losing a date. But the unfortunate part about progression, like the chase and format and things that, big business, we have a tremendous amount more, sponsors, Fortune 500 companies or whatnot involved in this sport, and there's going to be change. You just have to accept that that there's going to be, and just hopefully that, I think it's bad when the racetrack loses both of its dates. I think it's bad when we leave a racetrack behind. But if a racetrack can maintain its A date with being able to expand the sport or our schedule, then at least that, I think that's acceptable. But to take, if Darlington lost its other date or whatever the cases are, end up in the same position Rockingham or something, that's I don't think that's good for our sport to do that.
Yeah, this track, a couple years back, they really latched onto something unique with this track when they ground the bottom groove, and you had a second groove that was actually more preferable, and a lot of side-by-side racing from front to back, and even the ability to pass on the second groove, make passes. And they currently don't have that now with once they fix the surface, it's back to really just getting around the bottom best you can. And so this track lacks some of the characteristics that make it that keep it from becoming a Bristol or a Richmond. But even with that said, it's still fun to race here, and it's a short track, and I think it would really be unfortunate for the sport to remove another short track from its series, from another short track date from the series, because we haven't added short track races in a long time. We haven't seen a new facility built, yet we still see some of the most exciting racing of the year at Richmond, and you don't have a problem ever selling out Bristol, where you do it probably 80% of the other tracks on the circuit. So I think that somebody really needs to kind of wake up a little bit and see what's going on there to get some more short tracks back on this series. And there's something about this place that has a lot of history, but so did Darlington, and it didn't stand the test of time as far as 2 dates. So there'll be a day where I think this probably will lose a date, but it's unfortunate.